and girls, let me introduce you to an example of inferior Republican stock. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. Tell us, Kirk, how can you defend the ludicrous American system?
I see no reason to defend anything, Captain. These children are, in spite of your efforts to indoctrinate them, quite capable of growing up to become adults who will make up their own minds.
They will listen to what we tell them, because we know more than you. It is the best interest of society for them to obey us without question.
Whose society is it in the best interest of? Yours or theirs?
Children, tell this American fool that you will obey me without question.
Children, tell us how you really feel. Be honest to yourself as well as to others.
I'm sick of listening to Captain Hauptmann yelling at us.
Yeah!
Captain Hauptmann treats everyone like they're the enemy, even us.
Yeah!
I never want to listen to Captain Hauptmann again as long as I live.
Yeah!
Well, seeing that they want to obey you without question.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
I am not interested in a debate, Hauptmann. If your system is so superior to America's, how come you're losing the war?
What do you mean, losing the war?
I believe he refers to the collapse of the German offensive in the Second Battle of the Marne on July 18, 1918, followed by the Second Battle of the Somme and the Fifth Battle of Arras, which drove the Germans back to the Hindenburg Line, which rapidly collapsed.
The Hindenburg Line will never fall!
It already has in many places, Captain. And even without foreknowledge of events, logic would suggest the collapse of both the German and Austrian governments by the end of 1918 to be a 96.62% probability.
Never!
Furthermore, the war will end with nearly 2 million Germans dead and enough Allied casualties that reparations will be extremely burdensome. All for a war caused by tiny Balkan nationalities who lacked the ability to forget old conflicts and live in peace with each other. One of the most tragic displays of wasted emotion in human history.
Children, are you going to listen to this babbling nonsense? Captain Spock is clearly deranged, repeating worthless propaganda. Can't you tell from the look on his face that he is a lunatic?
Spock, I didn't know you had it in you.
It is typical of those who cannot win their arguments that they must rely on emotion instead of logic, and sensational accusations instead of reason.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
Jim, don't start a fight in front of the children.
Captain, may I suggest we try to find a less violent solution? I'd love to teach this creep a lesson, but not in front of these kids.
Jim, not in front of the children.
Hey, they have a rope. Are you also a cowboy, Colonel Kirk?
What is it, Colonel?
What is it, Colonel?
You want to start a fight? My dad'll come after you if you try something.
What is it, Colonel?
Jim, we don't have time for games. Jim, we don't have time for any of us to teach them.
Well, education is important, Bones. I always want to paint a mustache on a painting like that. This map looks a little out of proportion. They look a little small for me.
My dimensions are too large to effectively fit in this frame. I do not understand the request, Captain. I cannot seem to find Gothos on this map, Captain. Captain, do you have a reason to believe the cupboard's contents are crucial to our success?
I'm not an art critic, Jim. Trelane can make a map of Europe, but he can't seem to be able to place his own village on it.
That would require a little too much imagination, Bones. Trelane can imitate, but he's not very creative.
I'm a doctor. I don't have to go to school anymore. It's a little out of my reach, Jim. Jim, we don't need to freeze these children.
I see no practical benefit to opening the windows, Captain.
Do you want the windows open, Frau Humperdinck?
It is much too cold outside, Colonel. I do not want the children to freeze.
I'll pass on the vandalism, Captain. Is there anything I should be looking for? You want to open the windows? May I ask why, Captain? I don't think Frau Humperdinck would appreciate her desks being damaged, Captain. I recommend against taking items in full view of the locals, Captain.
The Baron has given orders that you are not to be disturbed. But if you threaten Gothos, we will kill you.
I would have shot you on sight, Lieutenant Colonel Kirk. You owe your life to Baron Trelane's kindness.
I'll try to remember to thank him when I see him.
But when you see him, you will die. And when you are dead, I will be thanking him.
Why don't you tell your so-called Baron to stop playing games and come out of the castle and face me?
It's not that easy, Colonel. Do you expect the great Trelane to make it easy for you to get back the Enterprise Squadron?
The great Trelane underestimates human determination. Kindness? Trelane? Are we talking about the same man?
Your insults are meaningless, Colonel. The Baron is a civilized man. How else can you explain the fact that you are not dead?
The Baron is an immature, power-crazed child who has kept us alive to entertain himself by subjecting us to sadistic reproduction of one of Earth's bloodiest wars.
If I weren't civilized, I would kill you for such an insult.
You call yourself civilized?
Get out!
I really don't need a drink right now.
It's not time to celebrate yet.
Maybe I should have become a bartender after all.
Human social rituals are fascinating. How easily you seem to accept an increase in inefficiency in exchange for a mere few minutes of emotional satisfaction.
A drink from you? If you believe that we would drink your drug schnapps, you are insane. A drink from you? If you believe that we would drink your drug schnapps, you are insane.
I would not try that if I were you.
You're trying to provoke me. How charming.
Jim, I might get shot.
Yes, you might at that, Doctor.
I do not believe this would be a useful action.
I don't think so.
I suspect that we will be shot if we attempt to open the safe while these people are present.
Captain, if we tried to take a weapon from their arsenal, they'd shoot us on the spot.
I do not see anything useful in the case, Captain.
Jim, I hope you're not expecting me to carry that. Hernias were a lot harder to treat in this time period.
A copy of the Holy Bible.
We have records of that book aboard the Enterprise.
We have access to more efficient weapons, Captain.
A brilliant brass telescope.
Captain, let's not go around carting anything heavy unless it's absolutely necessary. If we see a need for a telescope, we can come back here.
A refraction telescope with a lens that is approximately 6 centimeters in diameter.
I don't think I could see anything the way it's currently pointed.
I'm a doctor, not a navigator.
I wouldn't mind playing around with it, Captain, but right now we have no time for toys.
I'm afraid he's not in a mood for a conversation, Jim.
That's all right, Bones. He was rather boring anyway.
The man is unconscious, Captain.
Jim, let's not fool around with high explosives.
Starfleet does not approve of graft or bribery, Captain.
I do not understand the reason for this act.
You presume to threaten me, Colonel?
I want you to sign transfer papers for Sundergaard's son. Send him away from the front.
How typical of the press. Not too willing to sacrifice for the good of the nation. Untie me, and I shall sign papers to take this little coward away from this dude. You'll never get me to talk.
I would prefer that you didn't.
I will tell you nothing.
You're nothing but a figment of Trelane's childish imagination. You're even less important than he is.
I will tell you nothing.
Jim, I really don't think it's healthy to put more chemicals into his bloodstream. This soldier shouldn't drink so much. He'll be out like a light for hours.
This place is rather sobering, Captain.
I believe that drinking would be considered a socially inappropriate activity under these circumstances, Captain.
The great battlefields of the world, Gettysburg, Waterloo, Normandy, the Jintaza nuke waste. It's no wonder that our species has always looked for something like schnapps, something to help us forget.
Right now, I could use something a little more potent.
I really don't feel like a drink right now.
Jim, don't be a fool. He's done nothing to us. Remember, those things can kill when people treat them like a toy.
Captain, I think I probably should handle anything like that from now on. Kirk, even primitive firearms can be deadly. If you fool around with them, I'll have to ask Dr. McCoy to relieve you of command.
Kirk, what is it this time?
That's a very nice clock in your shop.
If you wish to purchase the clock, all you have to do is pay for it. It's a simple enough arrangement.
Captain, I suggest we keep the money. Given its importance in this century, it will inevitably come in useful.
What's the matter, Kirk? The truth hurts? You never let that get in the way of your ego before.
I'm putting you on report for insubordination.
Go ahead. Lick Starfleet's boots. If you do what Starfleet wants, you can get away with anything.
Fine, but do yourself a favor and stay out of my way.
Kirk, I'm going to be in your face so much that you're never going to forget what I look like.
Commander, I know a treatment that has a good success rate at reducing excess aggressiveness. It's called reason.
That's it. I've taken all I can stand from you.
Most illogical.
Grief and stress make people do illogical things, Mr. Spock.
So I have observed.
That was a good sucker punch, Kirk, but not good enough.
If you want to resolve this, we can do it after the mission's over. Right now, hundreds of people are counting on us. It's too important to let a vendetta get in our way.
Fine.
In some ways, human behavior has not significantly changed over the last 400 years.
You shouldn't judge us by our worst examples, Spock. It's the struggle to overcome our primitive tendencies that's the important thing. Unfortunately, we don't always succeed.
What are you two looking so smug about?
Drinking would be a most inefficient use of my time.
Trelane's liquor leaves much to be desired.
I have no wish to socialize with you, Kirk.
I'll pass this time, Jim.
Captain, a rifle will not produce sufficient force to penetrate the power field surrounding the triplane. The odds of Trelane leaving his triplane in the open without setting a trap are almost too small to calculate. Captain, I do not think we can climb the castle with that item. Unless Trelane is employing an illusion, a gunshot will not penetrate the force field. My tricorder indicates that we would need an explosion of at least 6 orders of magnitude greater than our current supply to dent the force field.
Put that stick away, Jim.
Captain, the force field around the castle is extremely intense. I get the same energy signature from it as I did from the triplane that attacked the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, is there any way to penetrate it?
The force field permeates the ground, Captain. The largest weapons of this era could not penetrate the force field. If we could generate a disruption on the wavelength, the field could be breached, although we would not have much time before it was reestablished.
How could we generate such a disruption?
By physically destroying other objects that resonate on that wavelength. Objects like the power objects that we have already found.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right now.
Captain, you're even ruder and more antagonistic than I remembered. How wonderful!
What must I do to make you leave me and my crew alone?
I have no interest in leaving you alone, Captain. As for your crew, you're only a few feet away from them. Observe my trophies, Captain Kirk.
And don't you ever grow up, Trelane? You may have powers of a god, but that doesn't even come close to making you a man.
And why would I want to be anything so inferior, Captain?
Inferior? You have vast powers, but no feeling, no soul, Trelane. You cannot create. You can only imitate, and very poorly at that.
Why, Captain, do you need another demonstration of my flawless abilities in marksmanship? If you attempt to steal from my collection, let's see. Oh, I believe the removal of hands was one of your more time-honored punishments.
You know all about punishments, don't you, Trelane?
I would guard your tongue, Captain. I believe the removal of an offensive tongue was an even older tradition than removing hands.
Not unless we have no hope left, Captain. I'd love to pound that guy. I just have a nasty feeling that it wouldn't do any good.
You're a violent man, Mr. Ellis.
Only against people I don't like.
Sorry, Jim. Doctors don't make very good dancers.
Don't be a fool, Captain. He'll destroy you if you try it.
Captain, the odds are 99.9992% that I will fail if I attempt to attack Trelane.
Not about a risk of 0.008% chance of failure, Mr. Spock?
Actually, Captain, it is 0.0002%.
I stand corrected.
Trying to escape, Kirk. Oh, I didn't think you were a coward. So you like my rug? I killed the creature myself hunting alone in the Arctic wastes. That was before the war, of course.
Of course.
Perhaps it will make a perfect shroud for you, Kirk, after I've dealt with you once and for all. Oh, a duel with axes! How positively savage! You never failed to disappoint me. However, I am the greatest aerial combatant this pitiful planet has ever seen, and as such, cannot indulge myself in such wonderful barbarism. I will have to find a more civilized way of killing you. My Captain, you're a thief as well as a vandal. Is there no end to your iniquities?
None, I'm afraid.
Why, Captain, it is a handsome portrait. If you think you can destroy it, I would think again. This one's positively indestructible, just like its subject. This one's even more savage than the last one of your officers who made the same mistake. My compliments, Captain, on having such a spirited crew. Truly a testament to your fine leadership.
Release him, Trelane.
You're no fun, Kirk. Besides, why should I?
I'll do what you want.
Your concern for the safety of your inferior species is most tiresome, Captain. Oh, very well.
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
Later, Commander. He's not a member of my crew and you know it. Besides, he looks rather peaceful standing there.
Are you trying to use me, Captain, to solve your own discipline problems? Take care, Kirk. No one uses the Red Baron of Gothas.
I'm glad to see the deep concern you show for the men under your command. I am truly inspired by you, Kirk.